Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim Kelly. This is The Real Sports Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in. Taking a quick break from my quarterback countdown, I wanted to talk about a story in the NFL right now, and that is the impending suspension of Broncos linebacker Von Miller. This is a huge deal. Now, reportedly, all Adam Schefter knows right now is that it's a 4-game suspension for violating NFL policy. It does not necessarily say the NFL substance abuse policy, although I think that's what most people anticipate it's going to be, including Schefter. But it's in the appeals process right now, so there's not a ton that has been released by the NFL. Somehow it leaked out, though, that Von Miller has been or is in the appeals process of a 4-game suspension. And I think regardless, let's think about, if he isn't there for the first 4 games, the type of impact that would have. Not only did the Broncos not have Elvis Dumervil on the other side this year, but you think about just the overall impact Von Miller has had since being drafted onto that team, and it's incredible. But besides J.J. Watt, over the last 2 years, I think Von Miller might have been the most impactful defensive player in the NFL. I think a healthy Darrelle Revis could make a case for that, but he hasn't been healthy the last 2 years. Von Miller has been crazy impactful in that defense, and to lose him even for the first 4 games, even though you're going to get him back for the last 12 in the playoffs, you're in a division that, you know, no one knows what the Chargers are going to do. No one knows what the Raiders are going to do. I don't think anyone's anticipating much out of them, and no one knows what the Chiefs are going to do. So you don't want to get in a hole early on. I still think, regardless of the suspension, the Broncos are the favorite for that division. They should be a Super Bowl favorite. There's not a lot of questions about that. But losing Von Miller for the first 4 games, if it does happen, would be a big loss for this team because of what he has meant to that defense. Now, to the NFL, this would be a black cloud on them because we see moderately big-name players get suspended for 4 games for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy here and there, but it's never really been too many big names. The last big-name defensive player I can think of getting suspended for the substance abuse policy was Sean Merriman when he was still with the Chargers, and coincidentally his career went down the tubes after he got back from that suspension. I don't think that's going to happen here with Von Miller. My guess is that he was probably taking Adderall or one of those type of things, which doesn't necessarily make you a better player, it just keeps your energy level at 100%, which I guess sort of makes you a better player, but makes you your best all the time. And if he took something like that, then it's still cheating. He should still face the 4-game suspension, but I'm not sure it should be as much of a worry to Broncos fans because all he was doing was keeping his energy level up or whatever. If it was anything bigger than that, then yeah, maybe you should be a little bit more worried. And either way, the NFL is kind of a league where it's not that we don't see players get suspended, but it's not like the MLB where we see superstars normally get suspended, and Von Miller to me is a superstar. Defensively, he has been one of the best players in the NFL over the last few years, and he is a superstar, so it's not a good sign for the NFL. Now, it's not the same as if Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers were suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, but it's still big. It's still not something, if you're Roger Goodell, with an off-season where you've had a ridiculous amount of arrests in the NFL, it's not something you want to see of one of your players who's never been connected with anything and was becoming one of the faces of the league and is still going to be one of the faces of the league defensively for a long time to come. It's not something you wanted to see. But we will allow the appeals process to take place. We'll see what happens with Von Miller. Hopefully it turns out that it was a suspension for something else other than performance-enhancing drugs. But again, I don't think that that's very likely. RG3 was also cleared to play or to start practicing today, so that's a big NFL news. If you're like me, even though you're an Eagles fan, you really enjoy watching RG3. So hit me up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, KASHKelly_TRST, Facebook.com/TheRealSportsTalk, YouTube.com/MrKelstar, and Section215.com. I'll catch you guys next time.